If we look up to the sky, there are beautiful worlds other than ours. Let's begin our journey to the planets of the solar system. Planets are large natural objects that orbit or travel around stars. 8 planets orbit the star called the Sun. In order from the closest to the Sun, these planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The solar system is the collection of the Sun and the objects that orbit around it, including 8 planets. The Sun is the star at the center of the solar system. It is a hot ball of gases that gives off great amount of energy. Life on Earth depends on light and heat from the Sun. The smallest planet in our solar system and nearest to the Sun, Mercury, is only slightly larger than Earth's moon. Mercury's surface temperature are both extremely hot and cold. Because the planet is so close to the Sun, day temperatures can reach highs of 800 Fahrenheit, 430 centigrade. Without an atmosphere to retain that heat at night, temperatures can dip as low as -290 Fahrenheit, -180 centigrade. From the surface of Mercury, the Sun would appear more than 3 times as large as it does when viewed from Earth, and the sunlight would be as much as 7 times brighter. Despite its proximity to the Sun, Mercury is not the hottest planet in our solar system. That title belongs to nearby Venus, thanks to its dense atmosphere. Because Mercury spins so slowly, a day on Mercury takes 59 Earth days. As it is so close to the Sun, it does not take very long for it to orbit the Sun. Mercury's year is just 88 Earth days. Sadly, Mercury does not have moons. Venus is the second planet from the Sun and is Earth's closest planetary neighbor. It is one of the 4 inner terrestrial or rocky planets, and it is often called Earth's twin because it is similar in size and density. These are not identical twins, however, there are radical differences between the two worlds. It has a thick, toxic atmosphere filled with carbon dioxide, and it is perpetually shrouded in thick, yellowish cloud of sulfuric acid that trap heat and makes the atmosphere equally hot, whether it is day or night. It is the hottest planet in our solar system, even though Mercury is closer to the Sun. Surface temperatures on Venus are about 900 degrees Fahrenheit, 475 degrees Celsius. The surface is a rusty color and it is peppered with intensely crunched mountains and thousands of large volcanoes. Scientists think it is possible some volcanoes are still active. On Venus, the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, opposite to what we experience on Earth. It takes Venus longer to rotate once on its axis than to complete one orbit of the Sun. That's 243 Earth days to rotate once. That is why a day on Venus is longer than a year of only 225 days. Sadly, Venus does not have moons. Our home planet is the third planet from the Sun and the only place we know of so far that is inhabited by living things. While Earth is only the fifth largest planet in our solar system, it is the only world in our solar system with liquid water on the surface. Just slightly larger than nearby Venus, Earth is the biggest of the 4 planets closest to the Sun, all of which are made of rock and metal. Earth has one moon, which is also called as the moon or Luna. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun, a dusty, cold desert world with a very thin atmosphere. Mars is also a dynamic planet with seasons, polar ice caps, canyons, extinct volcanoes, and evidence that it was even more active in the past. A day on Mars is 24 hours and 37 minutes, only a little bit longer than a day on our own planet. A year on Mars, however, is almost twice as long, lasting 687 Earth days. This is because it takes a lot longer than Earth to complete its orbit around the Sun. From an average distance of 142 million miles, 228 million kilometers, Mars is 1.5 astronomical units away from the Sun. 1 astronomical unit is the distance from the Sun to Earth. From this distance, it takes sunlight 13 minutes to travel from the Sun to Mars. Mars is one of the most explored bodies in our solar system, and it is the only planet where we have sent rovers to roam the alien landscape. These robotic explorers have found lots of evidence that it was much wetter and warmer with a thicker atmosphere billions of years ago. Until recently, scientists believed that there was no liquid water on the surface of Mars, only rocks, soil, dust, and ice. But newsflash, in 2018, they found evidence of a lake under the planet's south polar ice cap. Exciting stuff. With a radius of 2,106 miles, 3,390 kilometers, Mars is about half the size of Earth. Mars has two small moons, Phobos and Deimos. Jupiter has a long history of surprising scientists, all the way back to 1610 when Galileo Galilei found the forest moon beyond the Earth. That discovery changed the way we see the universe. Fifth in line from the Sun, Jupiter is by far the largest planet in the solar system, more than twice as massive as all the other planets combined. Jupiter's familiar strips and swirls are actually cold, windy clouds of ammonia and water floating in an atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. Jupiter's iconic Great Red Spot is a giant storm bigger than Earth that has raged for hundreds of years. Jupiter's environment is probably not conducive to life as we know it. The temperatures, pressures, and materials that characterize this planet are most likely too extreme and volatile for organisms to adapt it. With 4 large moons and many smaller moons, it forms a kind of miniature solar system. Jupiter has 80 moons. Saturn is the 6th planet from the Sun and the second largest planet in our solar system. Adorned with thousands of beautiful ringlets, Saturn is unique among the planets. It is not the only planet to have rings made of chunks of ice and rock, but none are as spectacular or as complicated as Saturn. It is very windy on Saturn. Winds around the equator can be 1,800 kilometers per hour. That's 1,118 miles per hour. On Earth, the fastest wind only gets to about 400 kilometers per hour. That's only about 250 miles per hour. Like fellow gas giant Jupiter, Saturn is a massive ball made mostly of hydrogen and helium. Saturn is home to a vast array of intriguing and unique worlds. From the haze-shrouded surface of Titan to crater-riddled Phoebe Each of Saturn's moons tell another piece of story surrounding the Saturn system. Saturn has 83 moons. The day Saturday was named after Saturn. Uranus is the seventh planet from the Sun and has the third largest diameter in our solar system. With a radius of 15,759 miles, 25,362 kilometers, Uranus is 4 times wider than Earth. From an average distance of 1.8 billion miles, 2.9 billion kilometers, Uranus is 19.8 astronomical units away from the Sun. One day on Uranus takes about 17 hours, the time it takes for Uranus to rotate or spin once. And Uranus makes a complete orbit around the Sun, a year in Uranian time, in about 84 Earth years, 30,687 Earth days. Uranus is the only planet whose equator is nearly at a right angle to its orbit, with a tilt of 97.77 degrees, possibly the result of a collision with an Earth-sized object long ago. Dark, cold, and whipped by supersonic winds, ice giant Neptune is the eighth and most distant planet in our solar system. More than 30 times as far from the Sun as Earth, Neptune is the only planet in our solar system not visible to the naked eye, and the first predicted by mathematics before its discovery. NASA's Voyager 2 is the only spacecraft to have visited Neptune up close. It flew past in 1989 on its way out of the solar system.